Snap Fitness in Grand Island offers 24-hour access, free weights, strength training machines, cardio equipment, nutrition plans, and personal trainers. They'll work with you to help you reach the goals you have in mind. Located at 217 East Dolly Park Road in GI.
All right, welcome to In the Hoop. I'm George Ayub with Bobby Mills, the 1,000-yard guy. Lisa Reese behind the camera. We're going to talk high school basketball. We're starting with the girls. They are in Lincoln this week at the state championship. This is what everybody plays for.
Pretty exciting.
Starting back in early November. So the Class A field, of course, doesn't have anybody in our area. The Islanders were beaten by Kearney, who ended up beating Bellevue East, getting to the big dance.
Yep,
so
made East sweat it out.
That's very nice. So Bellevue East does get in on the wild card, but I always like to make those connections. It makes you feel a little bit better that the team beats you, heads to state.
That's right.
Great effort by the Kearney girls. In Class B, of course, the Northwest Vikings, defending state champions. They have the #1 seed.
Yep, that's good.
They got there by beating Holdridge in the rubber match of their 3-game series. And then Holdridge is on the other side of that bracket as the 3 seed. So what do you expect in B?
I think Northwest will go through and win it. The only thing I was concerned about was Norris, that beat them earlier.
Yeah.
They just had a perfect defense for Northwest offense, but I think Gretna will beat Norris. I really do, and that's one of those 4 or 5 matchups that could go either way. I don't think Northwest will have to worry about Norris.
Yeah.
I think
that's
they'll
the
win.
other side, and that's the other side. I should tell people that's the other side of the bracket.
Yeah,
so they'll meet Gretna or Norris in the semis. If they get past their first round match, which is against Sydney, 17-7. But I agree. I think they're going to go through. I think they'll. Just watching, Norris really got off to a great start and has kind of stumbled along the way. And so
I don't know what happened, but they're not playing the same, George, are they?
Yeah, no, and I wouldn't be surprised if Gretna does get him. So it'll be, of course, anytime you get down to state, every game's going to be tough.
Oh, yes.
And, of course, the Vikings won it last year in as dramatic a fashion as you could find. So, they're seasoned and, very well ready to go.
Yep.
Had finished the season strong. Got the win against Holdridge and really beat Holdridge pretty bad in the district. So that's my pick too in B. I think the Vikings are going to go there.
Looks like a pious matchup with Northwest to me, but anything could happen.
In Class C1, Minden, of course, 25-0, ranked among all teams in Mike Patterson's rankings. They're obviously the odds-on favorite. On the other side of the bracket, Kearney Catholic gets a 3 seed. Because Shadron comes in at 20-4, has a few more power points, 45.4167 to 45.4000. So, I think most people, Bobby, think that this is going to be a rematch of Minden and Kearney Catholic.
Sure looks like it to me. It really does, unless Shadron spoils it on the other side. They play that heavy Class B schedule. They go play Rapid City, Stevens, and a couple teams like that. So they're
tested.
They are. They're tested, and they've been there last year, and they really want to make amends for not losing in the semifinals. So that could be. I still look for that rematch though.
Yeah, I do too. Shadron has #7 seeded Pierce. Kearney Catholic's going to open with Newman at 20-5. Minden opens with Lincoln Lutheran at 18-7. We know Class C1 is loaded.
It is.
In girls and boys.
Yep.
I mean, there's some great basketball teams. So, anything can happen, but obviously I think you have to hang your hat on the Whippets here, don't you think?
Yeah, three D1 prospects in one school and out of one family. How about that?
Yeah. Should mention that Kearney Catholic and Minden met once, and that's Kearney Catholic's only loss of the season. I believe it was an 8-point game.
They were way down and came storming back.
So we'll see. And, of course, everybody's a little bit out of their element. They'll be playing, they'll open at the Sports Center, and then the semi-games are going to be at Pinnacle. And obviously the finals will be there too.
But Northwest has kind of a neat distinction. They get to play the first basketball game, high school game ever played at Pinnacle.
Right.
So
9 a.m.
Bright and early. I hope the girls are.
Yeah, 9 a.m. That's Thursday.
Yeah, first time, and I don't know if they wake up well or not.
Yeah, you better hope so. You better hope so. So we have really no representatives from the area in Class C2 or D1, but in D2, Giltner at 23-2 gets the wild card.
Yep.
And comes in with its 2 seed. So
pretty good basketball
team. That's a good basketball team. 23-2, as I said. They're going to open with Crawford, That ball game will be at North Star. That's 7 o'clock on Thursday night. On the other side of the bracket, Fall City Sacred Heart, perennial powerhouse.
Always.
They'll open with at Southwest with Wausau Palisade. So, losing in the district, you can go either way with that. I mean, it's a wake up call, and you get back to where what you're doing, or your confidence level can.
I think they'll be all right. They're battle tested. Danny Mose, the leader of that group. They're a good basketball team. I've seen them play twice, and they're very resilient. To bounce back from losses, and they I think received a really good draw in the first round.
That's a good draw for them, and getting the 2 seeds really important. I think.
Yes.
And of course, a great group of athletes. Had a terrific volleyball team too, and I'm sure there's many of the girls play both sports. So Giltner against Crawford. That's 7 o'clock on Thursday night. So we'll be talking about champions next Monday.
That's right. Already.
All right. We'll be back in just a moment from a word from Snap Fitness. And we'll talk about the boys' district finals, which take place this week, and getting ready for the boys' state tournament a week from this weekend. We'll be right back.
What's the most centrally located gym in Grand Island? Try Snap Fitness, a 24/7 gym that's loaded with state-of-the-art equipment from Cybex for both strength and cardio. Located at 217 East Dolly Park Road in Grand Island.
All right, welcome back to In the Hoop, Georgia with Bobby Mills. We're talking high school basketball, and we've kind of gone through the girls, what we should expect at state, and I think we both have the Vikings.
I think so.
Going all the way. So let's talk boys basketball. The Islanders, of course, drew the number 1 team in the state, and and paid the price for that.
They did.
And Omaha South is almost doubled up on the score with them. But I have to tell you that South is playing as good a basketball now. They've kind of they were really playing well, and then they kind of went down, and now they're playing well again. And the Islanders caught them at a bad time.
They did. Bruce Chubbuck Sr. is he's a master at getting kids back up when they fall down, and I thought maybe Grand Island would stay with them, but then I just remembered what you said. They just started resurging or being resurgent after the slump.
And this is a good time to get well.
Oh, boy, you bet.
In Class B, the Vikings of Northwest, they won their play-in game with Hastings. The Vikings come in as the 5 seed.
Yep.
They're my favorite in that district. I think they can get through and win that district. They're going to play the number 1 seed Holdridge. But, there's just not a lot of difference in these teams. And we talked about this last week. It's Holdridge. Of course, Hastings was in there. Aurora, Lexington, and Northwest.
I think if Northwest wins tonight, that they might, and of course, that pending. I think Aurora and Northwest will be in the finals. Mm-hmm. But I think Northwest can get out of there. They'll have to play better than they did in the play-in game. It just wasn't very pretty.
Right, and again, the offensive struggles, just scoring points is plagued Ryan Rathke's team for most of the year. This time though, they played some pretty good defense and kept Hastings out of the off the scoreboard. So they're going to play Holdridge, and Holdridge comes in at 10-12. The Vikings are now 10-16. No winning records in that district at all.
And you know what's going to happen? They'll draw Elkhorn South.
So
but you want to get down there. That's the main thing.
That's the thing.
Tackle it later.
Northwest owns a victory over Holdridge, 52-45. That was back on February 7th.
And Aurora too.
And they've beaten Aurora and they've beaten Lexington.
Why not?
So
go for the Vikings.
So I like the Vikings to get down to state. I
do too. So
I think they're going to surprise some folks.
Kids will get out 2 Thursdays in a row at Northwest. How about that?
Yeah, all their classmates are cheering for them.
Yeah, they sure are.
Okay, the Central Catholic Crusaders are over in Hastings.
Yep.
That ball game is tonight.
Yep, at the college.
At the college, 7 o'clock. And they're playing Kearney Catholic, who they lost to back on January 10th. And, I think we have to say, and of course Coach Martinez never makes any excuses, but they were shorthanded in that game. They were missing Johanna Guy-Fan, the big kid in the middle.
Yep, you bet.
Brett Weens was out, one of the 3-point shooters. So I think they really were, and I'm not sure. I don't think, did Eli Hunter play in that game?
He might have. I think he did, but they were just off that game.
They were really off. And so, and let's not diminish that Kearney Catholic has a good ball club as well, So,
they do, George.
For the Crusaders and for Kearney Catholic, the winner, you got to win this or you have no chance of going.
Exactly.
Boone Central, Wahoo, Shadron, Lakeview all have more points, power points. the winner will get power points, but I don't think it's going to put them past any of those teams, and all those teams lost.
Yeah, I don't think so. That it's stacked above them where somebody's going to get, they better win tonight or they'll start track.
Right.
So it's track season or whatever they're going to play
Central
baseball.
Catholic is 12th in the points. So, So but I think, I think Central Catholic's kind of back in a nice rhythm.
I think so.
Eli Hunter had 23 the other night in a game where Guy Fan, they took him away. He only had 8 points, didn't get that many shots. Rebounded well, of course. So they have some weapons there. Roweeder Weens from the outside, taking the ball to the hoop, Hunter, and then, of course, the big kid inside. So I like Central Catholic here.
I do, too. They'll have to stop the Holtmeyer kid, from Kearney Catholic. Nobody wants to play Kearney Catholic because of that style they play. And I'm just thinking that Kearney Catholic will press the whole game.
I do, too.
I really do.
And that's been the couple times I've seen Central Catholic, when the other team puts the press on it, it bothers them in the beginning, then they adjust. They make good adjustments. I think if Central Catholic is pressed and they don't speed the game up, I think they'll be better. When they speed the game up,
oh boy,
I don't think it works for them very well.
No, they don't, and you don't want to get behind. I think they need to get the start like they did against Adams Central in that sub-final. And if they they're not very good from playing from behind, so right. they want to hop on them. They're as good as anybody in Class C1 if they play like they did against Wahoo and Adams Central and York. So we hope the best for them.
So so that game again, 7:00 at Hastings College tonight. In C2, Donovan, Trumbull, and Sutton.
There's some rivals for you.
Yeah, and of course that was a huge football rivalry. Yeah. And Donovan Trumbull's second in power points. So on paper, Donovan Trumbull is probably looking at a trip to Lincoln.
I think they are.
But I'm sure Coach Hartman wants to get the victory.
Yeah.
Because as we said earlier, when we were talking about the girls, you never quite know what's going to happen with a district loss.
No.
And so Sutton has no chance with the power points. They have to win the ball game. So St. Cecilia, of course, was beaten, and they're real high in the power points, and that's going to take one of the spots.
I think so.
The wild card spots. That game is also tonight at Hastings High School at 7:00. So a lot of good high school basketball in Hastings.
That's right. Something will slow it down, George. You know that. That's
the Blue Jays from Ravenna. Paul Boronic's team is going to head to North Platte.
It's a long trip anyway.
Tonight. They left about 15 minutes ago.
Probably did.
They're going to play a Kimball team that I don't hardly know anything about.
Well, they have that D1 recruit, Michael Dahm. He has a full ride to Colorado, and Wyoming University, and they depend a lot on him.
And I know they have depended on him in the past, and so how he goes, I think, is how Kimball goes. And Kimball has a nice program.
They do.
Prior to Dom, they had some teams that made it to Lincoln.
Yep,
did a nice job. So, Ravenna has a bunch of kids that can score.
Yes, they do.
Techmeyer will have his hands full. I assume he'll be on Dom if they play.
Could be
the man. So. It'll be interesting to see. Ravenna's kind of had an up and down season.
I think Paul will get to state. I really do.
But I like Ravenna there.
They'll try to run.
I really do, and I think that's what they'll do. I think they'll try to run away from them.
I think so,
and do the job there. So that ball game tonight, 7:00 at North Platte. Over at Grand Island Central Catholic tomorrow night at 7. Fullerton and Shelton for the D1-3 district championship.
I'm looking forward to that. I get to.
And I checked, and I'll
get to be on the mic on that one.
You on the mic on that one?
Of course, my wife is from Fullerton, so she'll be rooting for the Warriors.
Right, yeah, she'll be wanting to get a little plug for the Warriors. Of course, Shelton, victors over Heartland Lutheran.
Yeah.
I liked Heartland Lutheran in that game.
I did too.
But Shelton gets them. The teams have not met. I checked earlier, and so. I think Fullerton on paper probably is the favorite here.
I think so. That they beat, of course, when you beat Humphrey St. Francis, you're doing a pretty good job. And they beat them on a third tip-in try, which really hurts St. Francis. But they have it looks like the kid's first name is Sinan, but it's Keenan Watovic. They took him off on a stretcher. So I don't know how he's doing, but without him, they still beat St. Francis. Yeah. And Shelton's dangerous because they have that football mindset, and they were successful on the gridiron, and it carries over, so you can't discount that.
Right. We've talked about that a lot in all sports. Volleyball to basketball, football to basketball. You get that winning attitude. That's certainly happening in Donovan Trumbull.
Oh boy, yep.
Yeah, it really is happening there too. So that ball game again, 7:00. That's at Central Catholic. Nobody else really. The Sandhills Thedford is going to be playing at Burwell against Clearwater Orchard.
That should be a good matchup.
That'll be a good matchup, I think, too, Bobby. Two evenly matched teams. The records are about the same.
I know.
And so Sandhills might get a shot here.
They should. Clearwater Orchard has one of the most phenomenal sophomore basketball players. Can't think of his name right now. Isn't that great? I mentioned him and don't know his name, but he's going to be a kid to keep an eye on. That'll probably be what carries them past the Sandhills fellows.
All right, 7:00 on Tuesday for that one as well. And then Spalding Academy having a terrific season. They
wow, what a draw they had in that.
Yeah.
Well, Why Not is, you know how good they are.
Yeah, Why Not is tough.
Defending state champs.
And Spalding Academy, of course, 11th in power points, and they probably need to win this ball game.
They do, boy.
That's at Northeast Community College. That's at Norfolk. Kind of a hoof up there for the Spalding kids. 7:00 tomorrow night. Now Giltner, I checked power points. Had really high power points.
Oh, I didn't see
out.
it.
So
well, that'd be nice to get them in.
Yeah. So other than that, we don't really have anyone. Kennesaw is pretty close to our coverage area. They're taking on Elwood, and that's a good Elwood team.
They could very well win that, though.
But they could win it.
Yeah.
So D2's kind of, there's a lot of, Why Not, of course, is a powerhouse, but there's a lot of toss-up games there too.
They're
High
really,
Plains scores about 132 a game, don't they?
Look at these two, George. Yeah. Exeter Milligan and Sacred Heart, and then that High Plains matchup.
With Bancroft Road.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, those are two. That's a great matchup there in D2, so those will be terrific ball games.
Yep.
We'll be talking about state seedings this time next week for the boys.
Yep.
And, of course, we'll be talking about champions for the girls. So that's going to do it for In the Hoop this week. George Ayub with Bobby Mills. Thanks to Elisa Reitz behind the camera. Brought to you by Snap Fitness. We'll be back next week with our next to the last edition of In the Hoop. Get out and see a high school basketball game if you get a chance.
Visit Snap Fitness in Grand Island for all of your workout needs. State-of-the-art equipment and personal trainers will help you reach the exercise and health goals you have in mind. Located at 217 East Stolly Park Road in Grand Island.